Good morning BookTube, my name's Nadine, welcome to my channel. Today is a tag video. I think this is actually the first tag video I've ever done. So, that's fun. So this is authors I've read the most books by tag. And I was tagged in this by Summer from Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats. I'll link her channel down below. It's a lovely channel, one of my favourites. And she's just a very nice person, so definitely if you haven't checked her out, please do so. I haven't prepared anything for this, and so as a tag virgin I think it's safe to say for all of us, good luck. So I've written a list of 10 authors here. The first ones I'm going to say are childhood authors. Firstly, Enid Blyton. As a child, I went through so many Enid Blyton books. I had quite the vast collection for a little girl. I did start a few years ago trying to collect them again, but then I lost interest and I sold them all. But I think I've got a biography of her written by her daughter somewhere in the house. But yeah, Enid Blyton, definitely a countless number. She wrote hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. So I couldn't even begin to fathom how many of those I read as a child. So I'll put that at number 10 just because I can't think how many there was. Number 9, same sort of thing, the Sweet Valley series. There was Sweet Valley High and Sweet Valley other stuff. I think the series creator was Francine Pascal, correct me if I'm wrong. But I think it was written by a few different people. And that was all about some twin girls, Jessica and Elizabeth, and just sort of their relationships and school and all that kind of stuff. But again, I read loads of those growing up. And so, let's see, I wrote the numbers down here. So number 8 then, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I've read, I think, 8 novels by Arthur Conan Doyle. The entire Sherlock Holmes collection I went through back to back when I was a teenager, so that's, I think that was 8 sort of novellas and however many short stories. Loads of those. And then at number, wherever we are, 7, Colin Dexter. I don't have those. Gee, this was really interesting to do actually. I had no idea that I'd read so many mystery books. Colin Dexter was the creator of Inspector Morse. That was made into a TV series as well. I read the entire Inspector Morse collection, which I believe was 10 books. They were really good. There's like a grumpy kind of functioning alcoholic inspector from Oxford. I don't know if it would have aged very well, but I enjoyed them. Well, I must have done. I read all of them, and again, that was like back to back. I read those, which isn't something that I do very often anymore. That's something that I used to do when I was a child and in my teens, and perhaps in my very early 20s. If I discovered an author, I'll just read everything by them without a break. Oh, Agatha Christie. I didn't even bother trying to work out how many of those I've read. My mum was a huge Agatha Christie fan, and she had loads of her books, like a bookcase full of them. And I was quite a voracious reader growing up, and I went through all of those. My mum is probably responsible for my constant reading habits. She always had a book. She would go through probably 4 books in a week. So yeah, Agatha Christie, I read loads by Poirot, Miss Marple, all of them. So many. Next, Robert Franken, who isn't somebody that I've heard mentioned on BookTube before. He is a contemporary of Terry Pratchett, and they were friends as well, actually. And he writes what he terms far out fiction, I think that's what he calls it. And all of his books are a little bit wacky and a lot of fun, and I really do enjoy them. I discovered him in my teens when I was on holiday. The shop that was near the apartment that I was staying at only had 2 books for sale, and one of them was The Brentford Chain Store Massacre by Robert Rankin. So I picked that up and I loved him ever since. So this is the Da Da Dee Da Da code. Definitely check him out if you like your books a little bit odd. He's got loads. I've read, I think, 13 of his books, but there are lots and lots more. He writes a lot of trilogies and series and things as well. So Robert Rankin. And then after that we have Stephen King. And this is the last Stephen King book that I read, The Stand, which is just a masterpiece and flipping huge. I've read, I think, 22 books by Stephen King. When I got my library card, when I think I was 11, you could have an adult library card at the time. I made a beeline for Stephen King. I was desperate to start reading Stephen King, and I've been reading him ever since. So yeah, Stephen King can do very little wrong in my eyes. After that, my next most read is Anne Rice. I've worked out, I think I read 25 of her books. So that's the Vampire Chronicles, The New Vampires, Mayfair Witches. I think there's a few others as well. And then she wrote under a pseudonym as well of A.N. Rocklaw, I think it was. And they were kind of erotic fantasy. So it was like Beauty's Punishment, Beauty's Release. She also wrote a book called Exit to Eden, I think. I think that's the title, which I read as well. Oh, this was a very long time ago. I still love Anne Rice. I've tried to keep up with her books when she brings them out. The last few, there's a little bit hit and miss for me. My love started to wane slightly with Prince Lestat and the Realms of Atlantis. Just the, Atlantis, okay. Not the direction that I was expecting the Chronicles to take, but having said that, I love Lestat, so I'll keep reading them anyway. So we are getting close to the end. 2 more to go. So my second most read author, very little surprise here, The Cat Who series, Gillian JacksonBraun. The Cat Who Ate Danish Modern is the next one that I'm planning on rereading. I've read 28 books by this author, all in the Cat Who series. I don't think she ever wrote any other books other than Cat Who. They're not the greatest books in the world. They're very formulaic. Some of them, even I as a lover of these books has to admit, I finish them and think, what exactly was the point in that? So they're all pretty much the same, but in a way that's kind of what I like about them. They're like comfort reading. You know, you're faced with a problem at the start, and by the end that problem is going to be solved. And there's cats, and there's Quill and his books, and it's nice and cozy, and I have lots of happy memories of curling up with these books, so I will probably be rereading these for the rest of my life at various points. And then finally, my most read author, with a whopping 42 books read, is Terry Pratchett. Again, I've been reading Terry Pratchett since a child, and I have read most of his Discworld books, and a few of the Long Earth books. I need to finish that series, which is more like sci-fi. But I love these books, and I was heartbroken when Terry Pratchett died, and it took me a long time to read his final book, and I cried at the end. But that's the beauty of books, isn't it? They're always there. The world isn't over. The world is ready and waiting for you whenever you're ready to go back into it. And it's just a lovely place to be, is Discworld. So that is it. They are my top 10 most read authors. I've got a few names here that I'm tagging. I had a quick look at your channels and I don't think you've done these tags before, but a few of you are quite new channels for me as well. So I'm sorry if you've done it before and I've just missed the video. So firstly, attention. I have just found your channel and it's fantastic. I would like to see your top 10. And Amy at Zoe Beck, I've always loved her channel. Michael K. Vaughan, of course, who is very easily one of my most favourite booktubers at the moment. His videos are always so entertaining. Could watch him talk about pretty much anything. And finally, Dane Reads. So that is it. I will link all of those channels down below, as well as Summer's original video tagging me. And that is it for today. Guys, thank you very much for joining me, and I will speak to you all again very soon. Goodbye.